Here in Western North Carolina, normal is just a setting on the dryer because there is no such thing as normal around here after Hurricane Helene. And so we're having to all find a new normal in life. And at least for our family, for our little community here on our property of 14, it looks a lot like this. So while we've been documenting exactly what we've experienced here in Western North Carolina, we are just east of Asheville, and going through Hurricane Helene has been unlike anything we've ever seen in the nearly 20 years that we've lived out here. It's just been, again, I know I reference, all the videos and stuff that are out there, but watch the videos from those of us who are here, see the footage that is coming out, because the devastation is really that large and that catastrophic. And so now, as we're kind of in the aftermath of that, we're a month out and trying to put our pieces together and figure out what's what. So many have lost their entire homes. For those of us who still have homes standing, we're dealing with a lot of damage. We're dealing with a lot of mold. Most of the people in the towns maybe are getting power back, but most still don't have clean water. Of course, there's the towns that are just completely gone, and the ones that are going to take years to even, repair to any sort of normalcy. But even for those of us here kind of in the middle, we're trying to find this new normal. Businesses don't exist. Jobs aren't there right now. Roads are gone. You can't get to normal places that you would, go to for daily things in life. And, it's all of these pieces and all of these things coming together where you really are just feeling more and more, I feel like with every passing week, just how big this is and just how long of a road this is going to be before we get to any form of new normal. And I want to have these conversations about what the storm has taught our family. We have, us, our family, my brother lives here on the property with us, and then our friends actually just moved out here to build up their lives in North Carolina. And so on our little homestead here, we have 14 people living, and really this conversation we've had as a family really does go back so much to getting back to our roots, right? This almost like old-fashioned-ish way of living, and what we've learned from this and how we can move forward in this just way of stewardship and self-sustainability. And it's more that I can't wait to share with you all. So again, if that's something that interests you and you would like to have deeper conversations about these things, be sure and you subscribe, turn on the little bell notifications, check out the links down below, and you can even sign up for our once a week email updates if you'd like that as well. But I thought today I'd share a little bit of an insight of what the new normal is looking like here in Western North Carolina for many of us. And I know many of you neighbors are watching. You'll have to leave me a comment down below and let me know how you all are doing. But these are the things I've really noticed if I've been gathering clips of just day-to-day life over the past few weeks and really just prayerfully going through where we go from here and how we reconcile this all and really work through, because it is so difficult to balance the weight of the devastation with the hope and renewal that comes little by little, day by day. And so I think one of the first biggest pieces that we're really just so many of us are seeing is just the cleaning and clearing of our homes. For our home, our basement flooded. We have a full walkout basement, and it filled with water, which we couldn't get it all out. We didn't have power for a week. You go through all these things. You can't really dry it all out. We've had, ever since the power came back on, we've cleaned it out. We have fans going, dehumidifiers going. We're doing all of the things, but the mold started growing everywhere in the house after a week of just, sitting and baking with all this water, and then the heat from the sun, and this like just vicious cycle, this perfect storm, if you will. And so it's literally been every single day tackling different spaces, our entire home having to be completely cleaned, completely cleared out, going through all of the items and cleaning everything with mold removal and all of that. It's just such an intensive process. And so the clearing and the cleaning of our homes, that really has become this new normal. We're a month out, and I feel like I've barely just skimmed the surface of what all needs to be done here. I mean, we're not even at like full restoration process yet. It's literally still just clearing and cleaning, and every day picking up, doing a little bit more, working a little bit further through it, just to get to the next day and again be doing the same thing. Because then there's all the sorting and the replacing. Our family had to throw away all our clothes. There was so much moisture that even our clean clothing became mildewy. No matter what we've tried to treat it with, no matter how many times we washed it, it literally was unsalvageable. All of our towels, right? Blankets, bedding, all of these things, you're just like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. A few things made it, but most of the things did not. Thankfully, to so many who have been so kind to send in donations, to send in supplies, we were able to go and literally, sift through all of these donated things and have to find new wardrobes for all 14 people, right? New towels, new blankets, new pillows, new all the things to try to, get those things that needed to be replaced. And all of us out here are doing that, right? Some have been able to salvage more than others, but pretty much anywhere you go in any of the towns up here right now, we're all going, stopping by the centers, gathering supplies. Oh, and here's some right now. So since the mailman just pulled up, I will go ahead and say it here. I want to thank you all again. So many of you have asked how you could help, how you could get involved. And so we do have links down below in the description. Those of you who have donated money to our family, we thank you so much. It's what we've been using to work on these repairs and to do these things. Those of you asking what resources are needed for the process of rebuilding, we have an Amazon list down below, and we also have a GoFundMe. We're nearly halfway there to our goal amount as we continue to do our part to just raise resources and funds and supplies to help the community here of Western North Carolina rebuild little by little, day by day. So thank you all so much. We genuinely could not do it without you. And if you want to know how you can get involved or check in to see of any way that you can share, be sure to check out those links down below in the description. Because the next part here really is the community supplies and donations. It has been so wonderful to get to go and partner and find ways to support and to take part in the resources. To see our farming community come together has been phenomenal. Ways that, we're having to, our entire barn has to be rebuilt. We've had to redo fences, getting feed and different things for the animals, that's been a whole just really crazy process. Things, like I said, the clothing and stuff for our own family, being able to find just the food and the resources, the water, the, different things that, again, we might have had stuff on hand to get us through a period. This has been so much longer and so much larger than ever anticipated. I mean, this was such a crazy thing to have happened. And so having the community supplies and the donations has made the difference. Being able to get heaters, right? To get wood stoves, to go and help neighbors cut down trees, chop up wood, do these different things. There's so much that is needed. These are small little sleepy towns. We have, it's not big money out here. It's not, we have a very large elderly population. I mean, these are salt of the earth people living off the land quite a good bit, and really not in a position to just rebuild from scratch. Most everybody is being denied any insurance claims. There's just not a lot of, you think of all those safeguard things you have in case of an emergency. This would come in or that would come in that would fix the house or replace this or replace that. That's not what most of us are seeing. And so the community being the community and sharing supplies, people sending stuff in, people making donations, sharing these videos, this is making a massive, massive difference. And it's going to take a long road ahead to get to any sort of normalcy. So thank you all for making donations, for sending supplies, for coming and helping, for sharing these videos, for covering us all in prayer as we work through the daily in all of this, trying to get this new normal after Hurricane Helene. Now, so many of you have asked about voting because, of course, we're coming up on voting time, and what do we do when so much is destroyed right now? Now, I don't really know how they're doing it. The towns that are still semi-operable, they do have, voting stations set up. Thankfully, our town, the main core part of town was able to be mostly restored. There's still issues, and trust me, everywhere you go, there are trees down everywhere. There's debris everywhere. There's broken stuff everywhere. Systems still come in and go out and things like that. So, I mean, it's definitely not just, hello, buddy. It's definitely not just fixed, but I have seen in the towns where things are still somewhat, in operation, you're seeing stuff open. So I'm not really sure how exactly they're doing it. I think it will be kind of interesting to see. I've gotten so many questions about voting. I've done videos before on how I feel about voting, just from a personal kind of Christian standpoint on it, which I can link at the end or down below if you guys would be interested. But for our family, we did go this year and vote. There sometimes I do and sometimes that I don't, just for my own personal 2 cents there. So luckily for us, we do have a town that is open and we were able to go in and do that. There are resources I saw online posted of, for those who can get online, of what they're doing. But it will be interesting to see, especially North Carolina being a swing state. I think it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening, considering if you look at the map of who was affected, just of the state, all of this area over here, like half of our state has been affected by Hurricane Helene. So I definitely think it might be kind of interesting to see what exactly happens with that, because I think for most of us out here, I know I'm getting asked this question a lot in comments on videos, voting is kind of the last thing on many of our minds. I mean, there is so much going on, and I understand, make the arguments you want to make about voting, sure. The reality of what we're dealing with here is so large that it really just cannot be top priority for every person out here to figure out how to go somewhere and vote when you can't even keep fresh water. You're struggling to stay warm because you're sleeping outside in a tent of your destroyed home. So it kind of is one of those things where I think for many of us, quite honestly, voting's like the last thing on our mind. There are places open, and I'm sure they're probably doing something, I guess, but I don't really know what it is. So I think it will be interesting to see how this could affect what happens, at least for North Carolina, considering this has been completely shifted and kind of tossed about. So I don't know, but I think it is rather interesting to see that, yeah, this could definitely be a big impact in what happens, at least for our state, next month. The next part of this whole new normal we have going on out here has to be sickness. There is so much sickness right now. Of course, water is contaminated, soil is contaminated, the sludge that just came out from all of the flooding There's so much toxins in everything. There's been so much death, so much contamination due to animals and humans who died in the floods. These counts are astronomical, and there's so many remains decaying in the waters of our main waterways. The sludge, the silt that covered everything after the waters receded, we didn't get rain for a large period after, which we were thankful for to a degree, trust me. But then that all just became dust. Our whole town. I'm from the desert of Southern California, Joshua Tree, Palm Springs, that area. That's where I was born and raised. I know a sandstorm, okay? I know dirt. It looked so crazy out here because it just is like sandstorm everywhere. There's so much of this dust. Only out here with this circumstance, the dust is all toxic. So it's all being stirred up. We thankfully, thank you, Lord, just got a little bit of rain a little bit earlier this week. And so we're very thankful for that. It has helped immensely. But we've all just been breathing that in. So we're all exhausted. Most of us have mold in our homes. Most of us are spending far more time outside because we can't be in our homes. Many of us are even sleeping outside, right? You're tired. Your immune system with the stress and everything is just down. Now you have this, literal toxic dust blowing through the air. Our temperatures dropped down 20 degrees, went up 20 degrees, back down 20 degrees, right? It's all over the place with the natural just change of season. And so many of us are dealing with a lot of sickness. I kid you not, in our house right now, we have kids with chicken pox because why not, on top of everything else, end up with chicken pox? Then on top of that, there's strep throat going around in our house as well. So right now for us, we are here trying to recover, trying to do all of the things, trying to go through all of this. We have chicken pox and strep throat going through the house. And so the normal kind of change of season stuff that you would be dealing with anyways, some allergies, some little colds, then the cold, then the stress, then toxic dust in water all around you, mold growing in the house, right? You start compiling all of these things. And so while many of us are working as hard as we can to try to gut our house and remove all the things and do all of the stuff, now we have this sickness on top of it. I'll say for our family, I think all of us could probably nap for about a month and probably still feel like we needed a little more time to recover. I have been so thankful because for me, those of you who have been around, you guys know I love talking about just health and wellness in general because I think the better we feel, the better we live. And I've been taking these Primal Queen beef organ supplements for months now, and I love them. They're phenomenal. They've been amazing for my health, for my PCOS, endometriosis, my skin health, hair health, just weight loss, all of these wonderful things because it's just natural substance, right, that the Lord designed our bodies for, and it fuels your body and you feel so much better. I have been the only person out of our 14 that has not been sick. I'm not kidding. The only one out of 14. I take those supplements every single day. And I have for months because it makes such a big difference. And I actually was just talking with Primal Queen. They're so sweet. And it was time for me to order my refill. And so I told them, I said, I wish I could just find a way to order y'all stuff in bulk. My whole family needs this. It has made such a difference. I'm the only one who hasn't gotten sick in all of this that we're dealing with because of the hurricane. And Primal Queen, I'm just going to give you all a big shout out right now. They are gifting our family some additional supplements to help our family here through all of this and help boost everybody's immune systems. And so I thought that was the sweetest, most amazing thing ever. Again, they're wonderful people and they make a great product. And so if any of you are looking for anything to boost your immune system, especially with the cold and flu season coming up, there's a million reasons why I love Primal Queen supplements. But I have seen firsthand throughout the storm, throughout all of the chaos and everything going on, how taking these beef organ supplements has done wonders for my immune system. And thank you to Primal Queen for sending us extra supplements that I can share with the family here to help them as well, because wow, after this and everything going on, we could use it, and we need our bodies to be fueled and healthy to fight off all of these things we have going on. So, new normal has looked like a lot of sickness. And it's not just our household, we're seeing that all over in the communities here. And so, being able to take care of your health and fuel your body to make yourself as healthy as you can, definitely a priority. This new normal after Helene, I think all of us out here in Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, upstate South Carolina, even Northern Georgia, it's trying to find what this new rhythm is. I'm telling you, I feel like, I mean, I've been on YouTube for almost 7 years. Most of my videos, if you go back, are about my simple days, my routines, my rhythms. We homeschool, we homestead, we're in home ministry, right? We do all of these things, and having a good rhythm, how important it is. And I keep thinking every week, okay, I'm going to get it all together this week, and we're going to have a new rhythm, and we're going to start building back, and putting our lives back together. And every week, I feel like I'm hardly making a dent, having to empty out the whole house, finding ways to organize all the things. We're having to, work on projects around the property. We're cutting down trees. Then this project comes up. This has to get fixed. This has to get dealt with. The basement has to be gutted. All the mold removal has to be done. We haven't even figured out how we're going to get the drywall and all of the things to then build it all back again. Being able to get the barn has to get completely stripped, because thankfully we have these friends that we met through here, which I still am just so blown away by, who offered to come up and help and to rebuild our barn for us. Like, that's the biggest praise. I don't even know how to convey, the weight lifted off of our shoulders as we're getting ready to go into winter and our barn is destroyed and it needs to be stripped down. And how are we going to rebuild it? And then for the Lord to open up that door was just, again, that'll be a video for another day because it is so amazing. But how do we figure out this rhythm? I mean, I'm trying to still get homeschool done with my kids. You still have to feed everybody each day. You still have to get things done. I had to go to the dentist, and now we've got the chicken pox, so we can't do that. And then we had to reschedule appointments, and right, you still have bills to pay and things to do. And for me, I make content on here, and I had to kind of pause all of the projects and things that, sponsorships and things like that I had going on, because our lives literally fell apart. They were literally destroyed. But now I have to start trying to figure out how to like get back in the rhythm and put all those pieces back together again. And so it's one of those things that just trying to find this new rhythm, bumping into, friends and neighbors, and we're all saying the same thing. And it's all kind of this just, man, I don't know. Everywhere you go, stuff is closed, destroyed, not even there anymore, or just trying to keep it all together. Everything's been changed, everything's adjusted, everybody's trying to balance all of these new normal things, and it's really overwhelming. And so, trying to find a new rhythm has been something that's definitely been difficult, definitely been something where I just have to remember to give myself grace, for us to give one another grace and say, hey, every day we're doing to the best of our ability what we can with what the Lord has handed us. And does it mean I can check everything off every day? Nope, not at all. My house does not look like I ever feel comfortable with my house, being put together. My kids are like, I just feel so overwhelmed. There's just stuff everywhere. And I'm like, I know it's because we're having to clear out closet by closet, room by room, every nook and cranny, clean it, go through it, sort it, figure out the new pieces that we're going to have to replace and how it's all going to work. It is so much, but God, right? Each new day is a new opportunity. There are still blessings even in the hardest of times. And so being able to go through bit by bit and try to piece it all together, that's where I think most of us are at right now. And I'd love to share more about this stuff. I'd love to share more about the heart of all of this and the lessons we've really learned. And so I hope, again, if you want to subscribe and turn on your little bell notifications, and we'll be able to put more of this stuff out to be able to share, because I think while for those of us here going through this, right, it's very relatable for the moment, but for the rest of you all around the country and even the world, I think there's so many lessons to be gathered here from, like-minded friends to say, there's a lot of this that I could implement in my home as well. And so I hope that you all will join me as we continue through this process, figuring out what this new normal is, and even more, implementing the lessons that have been learned from this all. So friends, I hope that this could be a little bit of insight to what most of us are going through here as we're trying to piece our lives back together. I appreciate your love and your prayers, especially for our family now. I mean, these poor kiddos, chicken pox and strep throat. I mean, it really just seems like it can't get any worse sometimes. But God, He's given us today another breath, another opportunity. You guys be sure to check out all of those links down in the description for ways that you can get involved, that you can help, that you can send needed provisions for the restoration here after all of this, just chaos and everything. It's, day by day, remembering that God's got it. We're moving forward and we'll get there. I thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I have a feeling you might appreciate this video right up here. So be sure to click on that, check the links down in the description. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, friends.